Hey folks, Frank Smith III here. Frank Smith III, the comic book nerd, here with another episode of Frank Smith III, the comic book nerd. In case you didn't know, I kind of like comic books. I've been collecting them since the early 80s when I lived in Chesapeake, Virginia, and I started collecting comics at a place called Zeno's Books, still in Chesapeake, Virginia. Yeah, great place. Every time I go back home, I love going back to Zeno's Books. That smell, the feeling, the nostalgic atmosphere. This is where it all began for me and my love for comic books. Okay, so today's episode, I'm going to talk about how I store my comic books. Okay, as you can see right here, I have 5 different size storage bags and boards. Okay, these are bags and boards. We're going to start off with the first one, the largest one. These are called the Treasury Edition size bags and boards. These come already board inside the bag already. These are for the very large comic books. They only made a few, I think they made about 40 of them. I'm not sure, I got to check on that. But the book was this big, okay? And to give you an idea of what those books look like, here's one of them. Now, DC had a book called Limited Collector's Edition, okay? So they were the exact same size, but it was a DC Comics thing. So it was Limited Collector's Edition. And over here we have another Limited Collector's Edition of a DC book. This is More Secret Origins Supervillains. Okay, so this one was Justice League of America. This is Secret Origins Supervillains. And the last one that I have over here, this is when Marvel Comics and DC joined forces, and they would make one. This is a DC and Marvel present. This is Superman versus Spider-Man, the Battle of the Century, the greatest superhero team up of all time. All right, but these are large books. I mean, this is just cool to read, to even sit and want to read these giant books because of their size. Okay, so anyway, this was the Treasury Edition size books, bags and boards. This is what held them. All right, next up, magazines. These were smaller than that, but larger than regular size comic books. So these are the board bags, and this is the boards for the magazines. This particular company is called SouthernHobby.com. Thank you, Southern Hobby. And these bags come from Ultra Pro Signature Series. Ultra Pro. Okay. And to give you an idea of how big those books are, I have 3 books. Okay, so this is a magazine size. This is the Savage Tales featuring Kazar, Lord of the Hidden Jungle. And here's another one. Heavy Metal. Y'all remember Heavy Metal? They did 2 movies. Heavy Metal, they did 2 movies. And the last one is one called Devlina. This is the Sister of the Devil. Okay, Sister of the Devil. This is the first issue. They didn't make a lot of these, but yeah, they made a lot of magazines back in the 70s and 80s, and this was just some of the stuff that they had. Okay, so up next, I got Silver Age comic books, bags and boards. These are slightly larger than the Golden Age. Wait, did I do Golden? Nope. Okay, this is Silver. This is you know what? Let's do Golden. Let's do Golden first. Golden Age. Golden Age are larger than the Silver and the Modern. Okay, so Golden Age bags and boards. All right, had this in the wrong order. Now, a Golden Age book would be a book like this one. 10 cents on the cover. Okay, this is the Golden Age books are usually stuff from the 40s and 50s. They were larger than the Silver Age and the modern size books. They had more stories in it too. Okay, for 10 cents, you can get 5 stories out of this book. All right, these are usually characters like animals and stuff like that. This is Coco Comics featuring the Super Adventures of Super Mouse, number 47. Super Mouse. They say he was cloned from Superman or something along those lines. Okay, look that up. All right. So anyway, this is a Golden Age size book. All right. Next up, Silver Age. Slightly smaller than Golden, but larger than the modern day books. Okay. And now Silver Age book would be a book probably in the 12-cent to 15-cent range. All right, this is Flash number 136, and this is a 12-cent cover, the Flash number 136. See the size differences? There's a slight, ever so slight size difference in the books. Very slight. You can almost not tell. Okay. But in the silver and the golden, but still, it's a difference. Okay, and the last one would be modern books, books of today, the books that usually have anywhere from, like, I think 30-cent to today's prices of $2.99 and $3.99. Those are the modern size books. And give you an example of that. This one came out last week, I think. Thor number 5. This is like the 5th volume of Thor or something. I collect Thor. That drawer there is full of Thor comic books. I'm a big old Thor fan. Anyway, this is Thor number 5, and this is in the size. Okay, see the difference? Yeah, there is a difference. Okay, there is a difference. Okay, so that's how I store my comic books. They're preserved. I'm keeping them for my 7-year-old. When he turns 21, he can have them if he wants them. I hope he wants them, to keep these going. And this is how I store my comics. I hope you're storing your comic books very well. Don't just put them in a bag. Get a board behind them. Go to your local comic shop and ask for bags and boards. Resealable. All of these are well, not all of these. These ones here are not resealable. Yeah, these are not resealable. But the magazine bags are not resealable. You got to put tape on it. But the Golden Age, Silver Age, and Modern Age ones are resealable. Okay, so you can open it up, read the book, put it back in, seal it back up. Great invention they came up with. All right, folks, that's all the time I have right now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. It is Frank Smith III Multimedia. The third is the Roman numeral. Okay, Frank Smith III Multimedia. That's where this video will be in one of my playlists. It's going to be called Frank Smith III, the Comic Book Nerd. Since I do so many different things, I put them all in playlist under one umbrella called Frank Smith III Multimedia. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time on Frank Smith III, the Comic Book Nerd.